Single mom struggles to feed her twin babies. You won't believe what an incredible billionaire did. Lisa stepped out into the bustling Denver streets, her worn-out apron clinging to her like the weight of the world. The sound of countless conversations, honking cars, and street performers filled the air, all while two tiny voices awaited her return to their cramped second-floor apartment. Being a single mother to twins was a challenge enough without the added burden of a dwindling paycheck. As she joined the stream of busy commuters heading to the diner, her heart raced with one unsettling thought: how was she going to feed her babies this week? The food bank was a lifeline, but the embarrassment of relying on others clung to her like a shadow. Once inside the diner, Lisa tied back her hair, pockets empty of hope and filled only with uncertainty. Each customer seemed louder, more demanding than the last, as she navigated the clattering plates and bustling kitchen with weary feet. She gritted her teeth, swallowing the repeated criticisms from rude customers. An invisible knot tightened in her stomach. How had the dreams of her education drifted so far off? A fleeting memory flickered past, a few carefree college years filled with ambition, now replaced by sleepless nights filled with the cries of her tiny children. As the evening wore on, stillness settled in her heart, the whispers of dreams she had nearly forgotten teased her thoughts. What if she went back to school? Did she even have the stamina for late-night classes? Just as rejection loomed larger than ever, she found herself unexpectedly seated next to Dr. Bennett, her former professor, at a community engagement seminar. The irony of seeking free snacks tightening the pressure in her chest came crashing onto her like a sudden wave. "Lisa, it's great to see you. How have you been?" Dr. Bennett's eyes were filled with warmth, but she fought the rising tide of vulnerability. She shared her struggles, a mingling concoction of desperation and hope pouring out. His words, drenched in encouragement, struck a chord. "You should consider returning to school, Lisa. You have potential just waiting to shine." "School?" she whispered, the very idea sending butterfly flutters through her veins but also sending a wave of cold dread. Could she dare to pursue her career while parenting alone? The inner voice of fear echoed louder, insisting that education was a luxury she couldn't afford, leading her to question everything she thought she wanted. "Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Just as the warmth from the conversation highlighted her ambitions, doubt swallowed her up in an instant. Was she creating an illusion of a better future while abandoning her children during sleepless nights of study? Torn between longing for success and the fear of losing the connection with her twins, Lisa feared she'd become merely an image in their lives instead of a presence. As she walked home through the biting cold, her heart heavy with the weight of opportunity and responsibility, a voice interrupted her spiraling thoughts. It belonged to a man, a familiar figure who had quietly dined in the diner during her shifts. The billionaire with a known reputation for philanthropy approached her, intrigued by the fire he sensed within her while she lamented about her struggles to a colleague. He spoke of her potential with earnest concern, offering a lifeline that made her heart race with anxiety. Guilt and hope coiled within her as she clutched her babies, their warmth grounding her in wavering reality. Would this man truly help? What would it mean to accept help, to let a stranger weigh in on her dreams? Lisa stood at a precipice, pitting her fierce independence against her family's future, exposing the raw edges of her vulnerability to the relentless winds of uncertainty. With her palms clammy and tears in her eyes, she realized the stakes of her decision loomed dreadfully high, anxiety intertwining with dire possibility. Standing at a crossroads, Lisa's heart raced as she faced the haunting question: could she trust this stranger with her dreams, or would clinging to pride drown her ambitions entirely? The morning light filtered through the thin curtains of Lisa's apartment, casting faint lines across the floor. She sat on the edge of her bed, cradling her twins, their soft breaths a serene contrast to the storm of thoughts raging within her. The recollection of the billionaire's offer weighed heavily on her mind, intertwining with the persistent worries of being a mother who could barely provide. Around her, the clutter of their small space mirrored her chaotic emotions. Every toy, every article of clothing seemed symptomatic of a life she felt was spiraling out of control. As she listened to the quiet gurgles of her babies, a fierce determination began to rise in her. She swallowed hard, whispering to herself, "What is the worst that could happen?" The familiar knot in her stomach clenched tighter, but she envisioned her future beyond this moment. Lisa picked up her phone and hesitated at the screen. One call could change everything, yet the fear of rejection gripped her. A single breath steadied her hand, and she dialed the number from memory. "Hello?" The voice on the other end was unexpectedly warm. "Mr. Hawthorne, it's Lisa from the diner," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. The acknowledgement of her hesitance hung in the air. "Lisa. I remember you. I was hoping you'd call. How can I help you today?" His patience was disarming. I'm just trying to figure things out. I need to support my children, but I also want to pursue my education. You believed I had potential, and I'm scared I'm wasting it," she poured out, vulnerability seeping into every word. "Let us meet and discuss your options. You're in Denver, right?" "Let us set a time," he suggested, and Lisa could feel a spark ignite in her. Perhaps this wasn't just charity, it might be the catalyst she needed to reclaim her dreams. After hanging up, a knot of determination replaced the earlier dread. Gradually, as the day unfolded, she began strategizing, jotting down potential schools, courses, and how she could juggle her time. With each stroke of the pen, her resolve became a tangible part of her world, lifting the fog of uncertainty. Later that week, Lisa sat across from Mr. Hawthorne in a cozy cafe, the aroma of coffee swirling around them, a warm comfort in the brisk air. He listened intently as she detailed her struggles, a single mother caught in an unyielding cycle of survival. He asked probing questions, revealing an interest that felt genuine, not transactional. "Why do you want to go back to school, Lisa?" "To break this cycle," she explained, her voice firm. "I want my children to know their mother has dreams, that she is not just surviving but thriving." The admission struck a chord, unveiling a desire she had kept buried. His brow furrowed in thought. "You believe you can manage all of this while caring for them?" "I have to. I want to show them what is possible, to show them that even when things seem impossible, there is a chance for a better life," she stated, surprise flickering across her own face at the strength of her response. Mr. Hawthorne leaned forward, clearly impressed. "I see the fire you have, Lisa. But remember, your education is not just for your children, it's for you. You have to want this for yourself as much as you want it for them." A stir of real awakening broke through Lisa's previous self-doubt, prompting her to consider the possibility of truly investing in herself. Was it selfish to chase her own goals? Suddenly, it felt essential, a necessity woven into her role as a parent. And just as hope began to fill the cracks left by uncertainty, Mr. Hawthorne leaned back, looking contemplative. "I can help fund your education, Lisa. But you should know that comes with certain expectations." Unease crept into her now hopeful heart. "What kind of expectations?" With each word, the stakes seemed to evolve, demanding she confront not only her desire for growth but the price that might accompany it. As she stared into her coffee, ready to address the murky waters ahead, her mind raced with questions about what it meant to accept help from someone like him. Would her independence start to fade, or could she strike a balance that honored both her integrity and ambition? Lisa's resolve was solidifying, but the contours of her journey were gradually shifting, leading into unknown territory. The moment of truth neared, she felt it pulsing through her veins, igniting a fierce urgency to make a decision that would alter the course of her life. Would she step into the unknown, or retreat back to comfort, entangled in the shadows of what-ifs? The next decision she made would determine whether she was ready for the new chapter of her life, a future waiting to be claimed. The weeks that followed her meeting with Mr. Hawthorne were a whirlwind of emotions for Lisa. She filled her days with research, a notebook brimming with potential schools and programs, but the shadows of doubt loomed larger than before. Each evening, with the twins tucked into bed, she sat at the small kitchen table, scribbling plans and projecting her future. Yet, the daunting reality of her financial situation weighed heavily on her subconscious. Lisa often reflected on Mr. Hawthorne's words, "You have to want this for yourself as much as you want it for them." It was a stark revelation that reverberated in her mind. It felt as if she were standing at a precipice, caught between aspiration and obligation. Was it wrong to consider her dreams when her primary role was that of a single mother? The clash of these identities intensified her internal conflict, urging her to confront a lifelong belief that had stifled her ambition. One Thursday afternoon, she finally decided to reach out to a few local community colleges. She gathered the courage to ask about evening classes, flexible schedules, and childcare options. As she navigated through the questions, her heartbeat quickened when she realized that some institutions offered support specifically for single parents. Could this be her pathway out of survival mode? With each inquiry, a flicker of hope ignited. However, doubts interjected. What if she fell short? What if she failed to manage time, studies, and the twins? It was a constant back and forth, a wrestling match in her mind, which left her exhausted. But with every challenge, she began to uncover facets of strength she hadn't known existed. She started to envision herself as a student, a role she had once longed for, but had relegated to a mere fantasy. Determined to break through the paralyzing fear that gripped her, Lisa made another decision. She reached out to other single mothers in her neighborhood through social media, forming a group to share resources and offers of support. This would require vulnerability, admitting her needs and fears, but it was essential for growth. Their shared experiences brought a sense of camaraderie and relief, and for the first time in ages, Lisa felt less alone. At one of those meetings, a fellow mother shared her journey returning to school, shedding light on her struggles and triumphs. It helped Lisa see that her goal was not unreachable. If others could forge ahead under tremendous pressure, so could she. That night, she began to draft a plan. Returning to school would not be an isolated journey, it would be a collective climb. In an impulsive burst of resolve, she called Mr. Hawthorne the next morning to express her decision. "I want to move forward with the education you offered to fund, but I need to understand the expectations," she said, her voice steady. Clarity about the terms felt crucial as she stood on the threshold of change. Mr. Hawthorne listened attentively, and after a moment of silence, he responded. "I want to see you succeed, Lisa. The expectations primarily involve maintaining good grades and engaging with mentors I can provide. In return, I can assist with an internship that will help you gain valuable experience in your field of choice, should you require it." The prospect of an internship excited Lisa. It presented a dual-benefit education and practical application, but something deeper felt unsettling. What's the catch? She probed, her instinct for self-preservation surfacing. "There's no catch," he assured, "but you'll need to take this seriously. It's an opportunity for growth, but it requires commitment." Lisa's heart raced as she mulled over the responsibility. This was not just an opportunity for personal change, it was about nurturing the potential dream of a life far removed from her current struggles. The weight of this decision spiraled through her thoughts, prompting her to weigh the risks and expenditures involved. As their conversation unfolded, she drifted deeper into self-reflection. What would be compromised in the name of growth? What unfamiliar territories would she need to navigate if she accepted this offer? She could already sense the ripple effects of her choice affecting not just her life but her twins' future and their understanding of tenacity. The commitment loomed before her like a mountain, daunting yet alluring. Driven by an urgency to step into her new future, she took a deep breath and decided, "I'll do it. I'll take the leap." That night, as she lay in bed, Lisa felt a strange mix of exhilaration and fear. The path ahead was the definition of unknown, but there was a glimmer behind it, an inkling of who she might become. And as fatigue pulled her into sleep, one thought rang clearer than ever: she could finally take charge of her destiny or surrender to fear again. The next chapter loomed large, brimming with uncertainty and possibilities, calling her to face that unknown with newfound courage. The following morning, Lisa awoke with resolve. The previous night's decision to accept Mr. Hawthorne's offer had clarified her intentions. She felt gritty determination edging out the lingering apprehensions. Yet, that same resolve beckoned her to confront a new set of challenges. The chaotic rhythm of her mornings now included a swirl of anticipation mingling with the mundane: the school drop-off, daycare arrangements, and brief moments to hash out a study plan. While the twins giggled over their breakfast, she watched them with a new lens. They were her compass, guiding her toward a future where they could witness their mother carve her path through resilience. As they chattered, Lisa scribbled notes in her planner, outlining potential class schedules and childcare overlaps. The weight of responsibility shifted towards Hope. As she navigated through the day, Lisa reached out to community colleges, collecting more detailed information about courses that piqued her interest. The thought of studying business management stirred excitement, the prospect of matching academic theory with future entrepreneurial endeavors. It felt like a vital stepping stone toward a world where she could not only thrive but create opportunities for her children. Despite this growing excitement, doubt whispering from the shadows crept back in. Could she maintain this momentum? Balancing her ambitions while meeting the twins' needs felt like walking a tightrope. As she sat in the park that afternoon, watching the children play, her heart sank momentarily. What if her dreams ensnared her, leaving her inadequate? Panic fluttered, but she released it, focusing instead on the laughter surrounding her. Motivation rekindled with every hour spent building her action plan. Each night, she sought reservoirs of strength within her past experiences. Her ability to manage chaos, solve problems, and withstand tough seasons fortified her resolve. They were not weaknesses but building blocks for her newfound journey. Yet, those convictions stood as a mental barricade against the uncertainties of tomorrow. Determined to tackle her fears head-on, Lisa arranged a meeting with Mr. Hawthorne, seeking to better understand the internship components he had mentioned. What expectations lay ahead, and how would they integrate with her studies? The world of business was foreign territory, filled with opportunities, yet intimidating. She needed clarity to form a reliable strategy. When they met, he greeted her with warmth, reinforcing her belief in the potential she carried. As he detailed the internship responsibilities, project deadlines, collaboration with teams, and the necessity for proactive engagement, Lisa felt butterflies knot her stomach. Each requirement seemed monumental. But she locked eyes with Mr. Hawthorne's unwavering gaze, sensing both challenge and encouragement. This was not just about her but about reshaping her children's future through tangible examples of perseverance. However, as she digested this overwhelming amount of information, her apprehension surged again. Would she falter under the pressure? The risk of juggling classes, an internship, and motherhood nagged at her with relentless insistence. Later, at home, the twins played in the living room, oblivious to the weight of the decisions their mother was grappling with. Lisa watched them, her heart swelling with love, yet riddled with an undertow of anxiety. What if stepping into this new role meant failing to be present for them? Each possibility spun her mind into overdrive. That night, as she tried to focus on her course materials, her thoughts drifted to the support group she formed. Those shared stories of perseverance had struck a chord within her, igniting a sense of community she hadn't anticipated. Perhaps leaning into that support would ease her transition into her new identity. Drawing a deep breath, she decided to reach out to the group for insights and tips on balancing study and motherhood. As she typed out the message, a sense of solidarity enveloped her. It was an invitation to be vulnerable and seek help, an acknowledgement that asking for assistance was a crucial step in her growth. In the days that followed, the responses came pouring in, revealing that other mothers had navigated the same crossroads. Their journeys, filled with trials and tribulations, inspired her to confront her own challenges head-on. Yet, beneath this supportive network, Lisa felt the weight of an unresolved tension. Doubts clawed at her optimism. What if her efforts were still not enough? What if, in the end, she was simply not cut out for this path? The fear of failure echoed around her, a constant reminder of the stakes involved. Lisa lay awake that night, staring at the ceiling. Change was on the horizon, yet the path was shrouded in uncertainty. As she faced the dawning realization that the climb ahead would demand unwavering resilience, one question paralyzed her: what would it cost her to pursue this dream fully? The next morning, she returned to the park, where her kids played freely, and for a moment, she pushed aside the doubts to observe them. They were fearless in those spontaneous leaps, reveling in the joy of exploration. Perhaps that was what she needed to embrace the spirit of adventure without the numbing fear of falling. As the twins chased each other, Lisa felt emboldened, ready to tackle this journey, yet acutely aware of the emotional price it might exact. But the time had come to face the truths she had avoided for too long. Would she muster the courage to pursue her aspirations, or would she let fear dictate her choices? Would her longing for a better life for her family entrap her, or would it be the very force that liberated her? The tension between potential and fear wrapped around her, leaving her at a crossroads. A resolve stirred. This was no longer a solo quest but a shared journey with her children as her greatest contemporaries. At that moment, she understood, it was time to confront not only the outside challenges but also the hesitations that lingered within. Lisa's next step lurked just beyond the horizon of her comfort zone, a leap into the unknown that could unfold new possibilities, or tether her to her fears. With the sun casting elongated shadows across the park, Lisa felt a force awakening within her. The playful squeals of her twins transformed into a rallying call, a reminder of everything she stood to gain, or potentially lose. Each durable giggle echoed the spirit she longed to embody, a spirit fueled by an unyielding pursuit of her dreams. That evening, she meticulously mapped her week in her planner, color-coding classes, and internship duties while plotting the times she would need to be fully present for her kids. The task seemed daunting, yet the act of organizing became her first tangible step towards action. For the first time, optimism outweighed the claustrophobia of her responsibilities. After tucking the twins into bed, Lisa settled into her favorite spot on the couch, her laptop aglow. The flickering screen became her portal, introducing her to countless online forums filled with stories of tenacious women who balanced family and career. She absorbed their wisdom, feeling a camaraderie with strangers whose journeys mirrored her own. As the weeks progressed, Lisa found herself juggling deadlines with uncommon grace. The startup project assigned by Mr. Hawthorne pushed her boundaries in ways she hadn't anticipated. She learned how to engage in brainstorming sessions and navigate team dynamics, sharpening her communication skills under the pressure of urgency. However, just as she felt she had gained traction, a creeping doubt returned to taunt her. Would her efforts be viewed as competent or a mere exercise in persistence? Her anxiety accumulated during her first presentation, a crucial meeting with potential partners for the startup project. Standing before a group of seasoned professionals, her palms slick with perspiration, Lisa's heart pounded in her chest. She had rehearsed relentlessly but knew that deliverables in the corporate world relied heavily on perception. As she stood there, the weight of the room bore down upon her. They were evaluating not just her work but her right to claim a space among them. She cleared her throat, forcing herself to remember the joyous laughter of her twins, envisioning their bright futures if she succeeded. Pressing ahead, she delivered her pitch, each word laden with the urgency of her dreams. When the presentation ended, a silence enveloped the room. The moment stretched eternally, fraught with judgment. Then, to her astonishment, applause erupted. Mr. Hawthorne's nod toward her signaled approval, and a glimmer of pride kindled within her. This spark, however brief, ignited a fierce resolve. Back home, the twins cooed sleepily in their beds, and she reflected on the evening's experience. The applause didn't just drown out her fears, it transformed them into stepping stones. Each moment she used to navigate the demands of the internship changed her perception. She realized now that doubt could coexist with the spark of ambition. They were opposing forces, each imparting valuable lessons. But beyond the applause lingered a shadow of doubt, the thought that as she pushed forward, her priorities might skew. Would her ambitions pull her away from her children? The balance she sought felt delicately poised, and the fear that success might come at the expense of motherhood lingered persistently. As she lay awake that night, she confronted these shadows head-on, contemplating what boundaries she might need to set in order to protect her children while also nurturing her aspirations. The next day, Lisa organized a casual meet-up with her support group at a local cafe, determined to unpack her feelings. Each woman arrived one by one, bringing with them stories that interwove with her own struggles and victories. As the conversation deepened, Lisa found herself sharing her mixed emotions about ambition and motherhood, wondering aloud how to blend both identities without losing herself. A fellow mother chimed in with insight, "It's a dance, Lisa. There's give and take, and sometimes you might step on toes. But that doesn't mean you're not moving in the right direction." It was a simple yet profound moment of clarity, one that resonated within her soul. However, as the warmth of shared experiences enveloped her, a more unsettling thought brushed against her ambivalence. What if the dance led her away from the very dream she fought to fulfill? Would she find herself chasing an ideal that wasn't meant to be? The group's discussions fueled her, yet an undercurrent of unresolved tension simmered within her spirit. How could she navigate this landscape without being swept away by either her ambition or her fears for her children? Lisa sat with the disquieting truth that while she was emulating how to integrate her two worlds, she still hadn't answered the most pressing question: what sacrifices would she willingly make to ensure that neither realm faced neglect? As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden hue over the road ahead, Lisa found herself at yet another crossroads. The pursuit of her passion beckoned her like an uncharted path, fraught with potential and pitfalls alike. If she truly wanted to embody the empowered woman she envisioned, she would have to confront whether her journey would lend itself to liberation or entrapment. The space between potential and performance began to blur, leaving an exhilarating yet daunting question lingering in the air: would she find the sustainable rhythm in this dance, or was she destined to falter as the stakes climbed ever higher? The sun rose with a sense of urgency, its golden rays slicing through the remnants of night. Lisa woke to the sound of the twins gurgling softly in their cribs, a sound that both warmed her heart and spurred her ambitions. As she prepared their breakfast, the sweet aroma of pancakes filled the kitchen, reminding her that nurturing them was equally as important as nurturing her professional aspirations. They deserved a mother who illuminated their world, not just through her presence but also through her accomplishments. After the twins were settled with their breakfast, she sneaked a glance at her planner. The day ahead held a slew of internship tasks paired with a lengthy to-do list. As her eyes skimmed through the entries, she noticed a looming deadline for a project that required an innovative marketing strategy, one that she could execute if given the room to chase her creativity. A pang of excitement coursed through her veins, but quickly tempered by the chilling awareness of her limited time. What if she faltered? What if she missed the mark? The very thoughts that clouded her clarity demanded to be put in their place. No more second-guessing herself, she had to lean into her capabilities. Each challenge was an opportunity to represent her best self both at home and in the office, even if the latter felt like an out-of-reach dream. Later at the office, the atmosphere buzzed with energy, each colleague engrossed in their own project. Lisa seized her moment, signing off to create the marketing plan that had consumed her dreams overnight. She was a phoenix rising, fueled by inspiration but underpinned by lingering doubts. The room felt charged as she penned ideas with fervor, gathering insights from market research and doodling strategies on scrap paper. Every stroke of her pen echoed her day-to-day determination. As she presented her initial thoughts during a team meeting, she noticed a shift in the room. Colleagues leaned in, intrigued. Mr. Hawthorne asked questions that sparked deeper insights and wanted her perspective on where she saw this heading. The thrill of engagement propelled her forward, a tidal wave of adrenaline coursing through her as she answered him. Yet amid the fervor, a familiar wave of anxiety crested on the edges, resurfacing her fears of inadequacy. Could she navigate this newfound recognition without losing sight of her children? Would ambition overshadow parenthood? The balancing act felt precarious, leaving her toes dancing frightfully close to the edge. As the brainstorming session progressed, Lisa was struck by an epiphany. If she could create a proposal that successfully harnessed her professional skills and aligned with her personal values, perhaps she could create a sustainable path that honored both. The thrill of the challenge eclipsed her doubts, enticing her to imagine a life where emotional fulfillment and corporate success intertwined. By the end of the meeting, the energy sparked an unexpected wave of confidence in Lisa. She could envision not just her marketing strategy, but a harmonious existence that didn't require her to choose between her dreams and her children. This was her dance, a complex choreography of ambition, love, and resilience. However, as the days unraveled, a tension surfaced with each passing hour. The twins required her presence, and each night felt guilty as she tapped away on her laptop. The realization sunk in that while she was building her dreams, her physical absence could cultivate emotional distance. One evening, after a particularly long day, she paused. Sitting in the dim light of her living room, she witnessed her children playing, laughing without a care in the world. What was the cost of her ambition, and was it truly worth it if it meant losing those precious moments? Could she master this rhythm, or would she end up perpetually out of sync, fueled by both uncertainty and determination? Lisa picked up her phone. A message to her support group danced on the screen. How do you navigate ambition without sacrificing those you love? She hit send, knowing the response could ignite a spark she was desperately seeking. In that moment, she found herself standing at another crossroad. The evanescent tides of her dual roles churned between joy and longing, compassion and ambition. Would the advice of her peers illuminate a path forward, or would every step lead her deeper into a chasm of self-doubt? Uncertainty hung like a mist around her, thick and dizzying. Where would this dichotomy of duty lead her next? The stakes felt higher than ever, and the quest for balance promised to be both tantalizing and trepidatious. The essence of her journey remained ensnared in one resonating question: could she truly have both without losing herself? Lisa's phone buzzed softly against the table, stirring her from an introspective cycle of thoughts. She noticed several notifications from her support group. With a mixture of anticipation and trepidation, she clicked on the messages, her brow furrowing as the words jumped off the screen. "Make time for yourself," read the first response. "Your ambition sets an example for the twins." Another echoed similar sentiments, suggesting that investing in her career could also inspire her children. But the final message struck a nerve: balance is a myth. You need to decide what's most important. Her heart raced at the bluntness of that last sentiment. Was it even possible to prioritize both her ambitions and her children? The inadequacy clawed at her resolve like a beast concealed beneath layers of confidence. Were the constant late nights and early mornings building a legacy, or were they slowly eroding her connection with her children? For the first time in weeks, she felt the weight of these questions like an anchor. Could she truly continue to excel at work while nurturing her young twins? The thought sent a shiver down her spine. Even the idea of asking for help felt daunting. She didn't want to burden anyone with her struggles. Determined to find clarity, Lisa turned to the mirror. Who was she becoming in this pursuit? The woman looking back appeared utterly exhausted, yet somewhere in those dark circles lay a flicker of ambition. Could she synthesize her roles without letting one extinguish the other? She could either shrink beneath the pressures of motherhood and career or expand in ways she had yet to imagine. The following day, rejuvenated by this revelation, she set out with a new mindset. Instead of merely chasing deadlines, she planned a strategy for integrating her home life and career ambitions. She made a list of activities she could engage her twins in while simultaneously refining her proposals at home. Colorful crayons, finger paints, and building blocks became part of her work environment, where every distraction could be a chance to manifest creativity. At the office, Lisa pitched her innovative marketing strategy that she had honed both at the cafe table and in the quiet corners of her heart. The feedback was overwhelmingly positive, but more importantly, she felt the breakthrough in her own psyche as she confidently articulated her vision. Her approach melded personal experiences with professional insights, a testimony to the passion that fueled each day of her life. Yet success only magnified her internal conflict. Every promotion she received felt like another hour away from home. When weekend outings with her twins unfolded as cherished moments, she felt a twinge of guilt at the ambitions that lay idle. Each new task at work illuminated her capabilities while simultaneously questioning her choices. Was she empowering her children or forging the path to regret? The internal conflict started to seep into her dreams, haunting her with visions of lonely office nights and missed laughs over bedtime stories. One afternoon, Mr. Hawthorne scheduled a one-on-one meeting with her. As she prepared for the discussion, the nerves mounted. His praise had been supportive, but she sensed an underlying expectation for greater involvement. The stakes were rising, and Lisa could almost feel the walls around her beginning to close in. As Mr. Hawthorne leaned forward, a determination in his eyes, she braced herself for what might come next. Was this the moment when her worlds would collide, or would it serve to illuminate the path forward? All she knew was that her journey toward achieving fulfillment was becoming increasingly intricate. Would this meeting be the catalyst she needed for leverage, or was she merely stepping into a trap of greater expectations? As she approached the conference room door, she couldn't shake the feeling that the answers she was seeking lay on the other side, just waiting to be unveiled. Would she be able to seize this opportunity, or would it solidify her fears and complications? The door creaked as Lisa pushed it open, revealing a polished conference room bathed in soft light. The tension nestled in her chest tightened as she took her seat across from Mr. Hawthorne, who regarded her with an intensity that felt both encouraging and demanding. "Lisa, your recent strategy proposal was impressive. You've shown remarkable growth," he began, his tone steady. "But we need to talk about your role moving forward. We're planning to expand, and I want you to lead this initiative." As he spoke, the words resonated with a sense of achievement, yet beneath them lay an expectation that felt like a weight pressing down on her. Led an initiative? With a surge of adrenaline, she grabbed onto the few glimmers of confidence that remained. This was her chance of recognition of her hard work and ambition, but the concept of leadership also loomed like a shadow, reminding her of the sacrifices she might have to make. "What would that entail?" she asked, attempting to sound composed. He leaned back, fingers steepled before him. "It means overseeing a team, setting benchmarks, ensuring the project delivers results. It'll involve late nights and tight deadlines," he stated, emphasizing the potential demands. Lisa's breath caught. Late nights and tight deadlines, images of empty playrooms and missed story times flashed in her mind. Was this what it took to rise? As her thoughts swirled, she felt her resolve falter. Could she truly lead a team while maintaining a nurturing presence at home? "Lisa," Mr. Hawthorne continued, his voice steady but firm, "I wouldn't be proposing this if I didn't believe in your capabilities. You're a natural leader, that much is clear." But was she? Enthusiasm bubbled alongside her doubts. The idea of leading a team ignited a flicker of excitement within her, yet the shadows of self-doubt quickly overshadowed it. Underneath the praise, she felt the tension of expectations rising: more responsibility, more time, and at what cost? "I appreciate the faith you have in me. But I need to consider how this aligns with my family life," she confessed, courage weaving into her tone. Her honesty surprised even herself, the words felt both freeing and terrifying. The balance she had been seeking, a way to marry her ambitions with her duties as a mother, suddenly seemed at risk. His gaze softened, acknowledging her struggle. "You're not alone in this, Lisa. Every leader faces these dilemmas. What if we structured the team so you could work flexible hours? Your needs matter just as much as the project's demands." This wasn't the traditional path Lisa had anticipated. Flexibility in leadership? It felt foreign yet tantalizing, an opening she hadn't considered in the rigid corridors of professional expectations. The idea teased her imagination, offering a solution to her inner conflict. "I'd like to explore that," she replied, newfound determination starting to seep into her voice. The prospect of integrating family with ambition excited her more than she anticipated. What if leadership could redefine her relationship with work instead of ensnaring her in a net of responsibilities? As they discussed potential strategies, Lisa's spirits lifted. She began to see the project not just as a burden, but as a platform where her creative ideas could flourish, empowering both her professional growth and personal fulfillment. Yet, the concerns about her children lingered like an echo. Could this newfound freedom truly sustain her? Would her commitment to the project distract her from the precious moments with the twins? As their conversation came to a close, she realized the balance was still delicate. "Think about it over the weekend," Mr. Hawthorne said as he extended his hand. "And remember, balancing ambition with family is a unique journey. You have what it takes." As she walked out, the weight of the decision loomed heavier, a crossroad nestled between opportunity and obligation. Could she embrace this path without forsaking her identity as a mother? That evening, Lisa sat on the living room floor, her twins giggling as they played with blocks. Instinctively, she recognized this moment, her two worlds colliding in harmony. Yet the thoughts of the meeting lingered, knotting her stomach. The growth she craved might come with unforeseen sacrifices. One thing was certain, the chance Mr. Hawthorne had offered held the potential to redefine her future, but how that future cooperated with her identity remained unanswered. And just as she was about to draft a plan that could merge her worlds, a notification on her phone lit up the screen. Another message from her support group, this one cryptic sometimes, you have to break something to transform it. What did that mean for her, and what choices lay ahead? The journey was only beginning. The weekend stretched before Lisa like the open road, filled with promises and doubts. Each hour felt loaded with potential, yet every tick of the clock echoed her internal struggle. She jotted down thoughts on the notepad next to her, the lines blurring together as ideas battled against self-imposed limitations. How could she seize this opportunity without losing herself in the process? Her phone buzzed again, pulling her back to the moment. The message read, "Redefine your limits. What is holding you back?" It sparked a flicker of defiance within her. What if the expectations she feared were self-created? The possibility ignited something deep inside her, a challenge she was ready to face. As she watched the twins build their block tower, she marveled at their unrestrained determination. Their laughter echoed through the room, palpable in its innocence. It struck her that leadership wasn't merely about authority or deadlines, it could be about creating an environment where creativity flourishes and empowers others. A shift in perspective was necessary. What if she could redefine leadership to align with the mother she aspired to be? Revisioning her approach allowed ideas to swirl toward clarity. Unique strategies began to surface, ways to mesh her time at work and home. She realized nodding off in the evenings wouldn't necessarily mean failure, it could simply signify a moment of quiet success. That same afternoon, she prepared a presentation on the ambitious project. A new excitement bruised her uncertainties, pushing through the doubt. She broke down the large task into manageable segments, blending metrics with personal insight, a first of many steps toward ownership. When Sunday came, Lisa stood in front of the mirror, dressed in a way that reflected the professional she wanted to become. As she practiced her pitch, she felt an inkling of pride wash over her. Each word echoed not just an idea but a vision, her vision. Perhaps it was the weight of expectation that had held her back all along, not the tasks or the late nights. Later that day, she joined a video call with her support group. As they shared their struggles and triumphs, Lisa's hesitations began to shed. Listening to others embrace vulnerabilities inspired a wave of courage. Witnessing the power of shared experiences nudged her toward action, solidifying the resolve she pumped into her day. With every conversation, the sense of community crystallized. "Remember," one member said, "it's okay to adapt as you grow. Flexibility doesn't mean weakness, it means finding strength in change." The comment hung in the air, magnifying her internal shift. A leader is not defined by rigid standards but by the capacity to navigate through unpredictability. Encouraged, Lisa returned to her project plan. By infusing her personal motivations with professional aspirations, she began constructing a new foundation from which to launch her leadership. Her focus shifted toward creating a workplace that embraced flexibility for all, threading compassion through the fabric of commerce. Yet, as the evening settled, the new clarity dimmed under the weight of reality. The intricate dance of deadlines loomed ominously, the worry of separation tugged at her heart. Would her newfound ambition allow her to stay present in her children's lives? Each leading decision would test the delicate balance she was crafting. As the sun dipped below the horizon, shadows danced across the room, mingling with memories of her twin smiles. Each moment apart felt like tearing a page from their shared story. Transformation required sacrifice, but how could she reconcile her needs with her children's? The remnants of doubt lingered, whispering if this path was the right one. As Lisa prepared to finalize her presentation for the following day, a thought surfaced and expanded, wrapping around her brain. What if this venture wasn't merely about work-life balance, but forging a new definition of success? Tomorrow, she would present not just her strategy, but her vision for leadership, redefining it for herself and others. In her company. But what that truly meant and how it would unfold remained an uncertain journey. Would her message resonate, or would it deter those around her? The next chapter was destined to begin at dawn, but the clock had already started ticking. The sun pierced through the curtains, illuminating Lisa's carefully organized space as she cradled her twins, now a bit older and more curious about the world. Every time the gentle laughter of the children filled the room, it reminded her of her purpose. If she had been lost before, she felt rooted now, grounded in the achievements she had amassed. propelled by the resolve to be a beacon of hope for not only herself but for her children. The previous day's presentation had gone better than she had ever dreamed. Standing in front of her colleagues, she had passionately merged her insights, weaving the urgency of her life experience as a single mom into a compelling business strategy. Each word delivered with conviction unraveled barriers she had once thought insurmountable. Following her pitch, the room erupted in applause, affirmations of her journey and the spark she had ignited within others. Mr. Hawthorne had beamed with pride, a recognition she yearned for yet once doubted she could achieve. With the initiative greenlit, their team was excitedly diving into the project, but the real triumph for Lisa had been grounded in something far more profound: the balance she'd begun to sculpt between motherhood and ambition. She had put into practice the flexibility Mr. Hawthorne had suggested, occasionally bringing her twins along to work during casual, collaborative brainstorming sessions. Their innocent giggles filled the air, reminding her that ambition needn't eclipse presence. Instead, it could enhance it. She drafted family-friendly policies while nurturing her dreams, a fusion of nurturing ambitions and parenting that created a new narrative. Reflections of her own childhood resurfaced. Her parents had modeled resilience, teaching her that it was perfectly okay to pursue dreams while being dynamically involved in each other's lives. Lisa decided to become that very model for her twins, the embodiment of a mother with aspirations, demonstrating that success was attainable through hard work balanced with love. Outside of work, the support group she had initiated flourished, providing a steady forum where women like her exchanged ideas on managing ambitions without foregoing familial bonds. They shared tips on integrating study time with playtime, creating meal prep weekends, and carving out moments to recharge, essential for resilience in their relentless pursuit of balance. Together, they formed a constellation of encouragement, shining above the challenges faced. And no longer burdened by insecurity, Lisa began using her experience to mentor peers, aiming to pave the path for those in need of guidance. A wave of pride washed over her as she actively shaped not just her trajectory but the lifelines of others. She became a guest speaker at various community events, advocating for empowerment through education, unmasking the fear that had once held her captive. With every session, she witnessed women transform, stories blending like colors on a canvas, painting new visions of possibility. While the path ahead remained demanding, Lisa cultivated the strength to navigate it. She seamlessly integrated new strategies into her daily life, confidently leading her team while nurturing her children, redefining her own understanding of success. Hers was a success built not solely on career accolades but intertwined with familial fulfillment, creating a legacy for her twins to witness. And as she tucked her children into bed each night, the fulfillment of knowing she was not just surviving but thriving enveloped her. She had emerged as not only the architect of her own dreams but also as a role model of resilience and commitment for her family. The love she felt radiated outward, becoming the catalyst that would inspire her children for years to come, proving that ambition and motherhood could coexist beautifully. In that quiet moment after the twins had drifted into dreams, Lisa reflected with a solemn confidence. She had conquered her fears, demonstrated her competence in both work and motherhood, and achieved a position of influence. Each challenge had become an opportunity for growth, allowing for a transformation that empowered her in ways she had never anticipated. This was a new beginning, a future carved by determination, clarity, and authenticity. More than a mother or a student, she had transformed into a resilient leader, ready to face whatever challenges awaited. Now is the moment to embrace your own journey. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive emotional stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and spread the word. Comment your reactions and theories about Lisa's incredible transformation. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this culmination of hope and success. You need to subscribe now, because this is a journey of transformation and empowerment that you won't want to miss. Don't wait even one more second to share.